SysEx Dumpster number 3, Robocop, with guest Sean Dimentia.
And Robocop.
Guest starring.
A very realistic Robocop.
He's got some weight to him, dude. Feel like he's all metal.
Holy shit, that is way heavier than I thought.
Yeah, I told you.
That's
dude.
substantial.
Could he have more obvious weak points on his ankles, though? like that's where you want to shoot.
His
Like
Achilles
literally
heel.
and figuratively an Achilles heel.
Yeah. Or just like rope him up around there. Oh, fuck, Robocop, you gotta step it up.
Yeah, I can take the... Oh, I forgot. Fuck. There's a secret
Is there a cod piece?
door.
Like
one of his legs.
A beach outfit.
Can't remember where.
Yeah, I was thinking of him
Oh, there it is.
skiing too. He gets sled
Boom.
and skis too.
Style was
Oh.
up.
God.
Spare pistol in there.
Oh.
Where does he keep his condoms?
Playing with the video synth. Greg's circuit and video mixer. Yeah, can't you see it?
You guys can almost imagine what this looks like. Yeah, it's fucking hypnotic, dude. I'll patch that up while I'm patching stuff and just start like malting things into it so that it's being like hit with the sounds.
Have you played with any of the is it LVX?
Yeah.
I have not.
One of my friends, her and I hang out, and I make music, and she brings over her modular video stuff, and it's fucking amazing.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Super cool and really a lot of fun to play because you can just get in those in between frequencies, video frequencies. It's really beautiful, and I have a projector in my room, so I just project it all over this giant wall. It's fun. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, I do not have any of that stuff. Yeah, this is my first entry into video synthesis. I just got the Ming Mecha system and a circuit bent Panasonic mixer from BPMC that I just run it into.
Very distracting.
Yeah, like I said, it'll just pull you in, man. It's hypnotic.
It's like a mirror of my brain activity right now.
Is that the Klingon symbol? That little thing there or something?
That's the Sprite doing something.
That show last night was fun. Should just mention that. It would be wrong to not mention the show.
Yeah, I think
That was
I think
really-
Dave should mention it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
That was your baby, dude.
It seemed to go well. I was stoked on it.
All right.
That's all I want to say.
Close that chapter.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving on. Yeah, it's always cool to see people I've seen play for 10 years like continually push it.
Yeah.
It's, a lot of people do not continually push what they do.
It was awesome to see Pete get crazy for
Yeah.
a second.
Mm-hmm.
Break some
Brought
shit.
the BCR out and played some 280 BPM.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
I wish he did more of that. Like, I could have listened to that for another hour at least. You know what I mean? It's like,
So let's talk about good things this year. Only fucking good things. Or shitty modules. Nothing else.
yeah. I mean, we'll get to the shitty shit. I say let's do the positive stuff
Positive?
first. Yeah.
Positive.
Because we're on a positive note, talking about the show.
Fair enough.
A lot of us, I think, were using new shit in the show. Like I was playing before the show, I managed to work in the Trash Master and the Sync Iter, however the hell you pronounce it. Powerful combination of noise and shit.
How were you using it?
Basically, just wanted it to be a noise box in my module. You know what I mean? And it worked. I have the little light plane controller strip in there that I was using to control the pitch on the sync. And then I was manually tweaking the settings on the Trash Master. And every once in a while, I'd manually tweak the fold and the morph on the sync. And just a lot of tweakability.
I got a Dave question too. I want to make you talk as much as possible.
Oh, no. All right.
Yeah. I just want to know how you manage your patches live. Do you do like little ones that... I'm just curious, like how people deal with that. I think I get a sense of how Greg deals with it a little, but you get a lot of variety. So I don't know if you have like little blocks that you play with, or if it's like one.
It's mostly little blocks, and then I use the planer to sort of like that's the main thing. Is
that's
like
true.
going through the different things, and so like I try to make stuff that works well. If it's totally in, just using just one of the 4 channels, or blends well with other things, and I don't really do too much once I get the oscillator set and filter, just fucking with filters and like cut off how much CV, like if I have CV going to it, like how much CV, the amount going into it, especially on the Wasp. If I crank that up, that's when you start getting like really like tweaky sort of sounds that I'm looking for.
And all your beats were RM1X.
I had the ES1 and the RM1X.
Oh, okay. A vampire should never touch anything on that shelf. It's a lot of quartz. I'm seeing quartz. I'm seeing gemstones. I bet if you swallowed it, you would gain an ability until it exited.
I would become immortal, I'm pretty sure.
It's like temporary immortality.
Yeah, which is kind of what we already have.
I forget what the
Touche.
crystal is. But
That was deep. That was a deep cut.
That's deep. That's as deep as we're getting.
Wait, do we have any questions for Sean? We don't really grill him yet. We should grill him about something. Not about music or anything.
I
Like,
wanted to ask, are you sequencing your modular with the RM1X?
yes, yeah.
Oh, do you use a MIDI delay in that thing to go into all that stuff?
Like
I think that's like one of the best things with RM1X.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I do, but
I was wondering how that would
I gotta do like
affect the modular. It works well with it.
it doesn't work as well as I want. It may just be the limitation of the MIDI to CV that I have.
Okay.
I've actually been looking into something that would handle it a little bit more gracefully or do something cool with it. Oh, or it may just be the way that I'm using it.
Like
It's not
yarns, maybe.
Yeah, that's. I think that would open that combination, and that would be a great bridge between the two, because that's the best thing about the RM1X. And if you can't use it to its full capability, not gonna get as much out of it.
It's like another thing why I don't see why a lot of other devices don't have MIDI delays built in.
Yeah, the MIDI box is the only other one that I know of, I think. And you can even like pitch the delay, like the MIDI too, like over time, which creates like all these arpeggiated like sequences.
Oh, wow.
It's sweet.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that thing.
Have you been using that and syncing that up to the modular stuff?
Oh hell yeah.
And it does it well.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What MIDI to CV interface?
Kilpatrick, K1600. Yeah, those are sweet, and you can get them for like, they used to be like $400, but I got mine for like 200. Like you can get them used for not much, because it's just their sexier MIDI to CV interfaces, but it's got like fucking 2 CV outs, like 4 triggers and 4 gates or something.
Oh, nice.
It's like ridiculous.
How do you actually set the channels? Is it just like...
Oh, it'll learn. It's got like a learn switch. You just switch it up, like hit a note type thing, and there you go.
Yeah. The one I have is just basically like the first note it gets. That's the channel it's going.
Yeah.
Are you doing live sequencing? Is that part of what you got going on with the Octatrack live?
Most of it's pre-programmed. I leave room to change things on the fly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
I like to give it a little bit of a live feel.
Yeah,
as much as possible, so I can entertain myself too up there.
It seems like you were doing a lot of changes on the rhythm.
Yeah.
With like the different pads and stuff.
Yeah.
It seemed like you're playing.
Popping things in and out really quickly. So.
Do you load up like different projects when you're playing on the rhythm, or you just keep one like project?
I have a lot of projects. Octatrack has 16 songs. I just have to change out the rhythm like halfway through the set or something like that, because it only takes 8, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, I have 16 songs always at like my fingertips, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's.
But I set up so I set things up. Some things I have a lot of CC controls about stuff, but then I leave a lot of stuff open so I can actually play live too.
Right.
Because it's hard to have your hands everywhere at the same time trying to get things. So automate some things, but leave a lot of room for me to play with other stuff.
Like we were saying about 2 drum machines, using 2 live can be like kind of tricky if you've already got a sequencer and synths you're trying to manage. Like creates a split in my brain. I kind of like to keep it to 1 if possible, and then. Some loops or something.
I'm definitely going back and forth with Octatrack and rhythm a lot. I'm always just like switching my hands back and forth, whatnot. Because I set everything up so I can go in and out of so many different ways and patterns in between all that. So it can never be the same twice.
And the virus, how's that? How do you work into that? Do you play that live at all, like through the Octa?
I record my patterns into there, and I just go in and tweak a lot of the settings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all I would do.
The filters and FM stuff in there the most, and then some of the LFOs as well.
Nice.
Again, some things are pre-CC control, and then I leave just like a few things like pads or some other stuff I can manipulate as I go.
Nice.
And whatnot, and adding effects as I go as well. So
it's kind of like what I try to do with the modular. I guess it's like mostly, for the synth stuff and noisier stuff and some processing. Like I was gonna try to do like beat programming with the modular this time around. I just, like you said, it was just too much. I had too much going on. Like I had the rhythm, and I had the Toraiz, and I was like, this is just all over the fucking place. Like I need to streamline this down a bit.
How many dimensions can you dive into and still be sane at the same time? Yeah,
because I figured out like I really fucking love like jamming on the rhythm, like live. You know what I mean? But like I feel like when I do that, the set just needs to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all you're doing. Yeah.
I figured out that like I have like 2 ways to perform live, I guess. You know what I mean? One is like rhythm / modular, with the modular doing percussive shit with it, or modular doing synthy stuff and noise, and the Toraiz handling most of the beats. It's like one or the other. I couldn't figure out a way to do both and make it work.
So it's a good segue for if you play 3 shows in as many days with a Toraiz. How are you feeling it?
I like it. I had some buyer's remorse when I first got it because it just seemed like so simple of a device and an expensive device, and it was like all pretty and rainbow colors and shit, and I was like, this probably isn't going to work out for me. I felt like it was going to be too DJ-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I updated to the latest firmware. That added a lot of shit that I really dug. Like that implemented the LFOs, shit ton more effects, master effects, more functionality with the MIDI, just like a whole bunch of shit. Like it still doesn't feel complete. It's there enough, you know what I mean, where I can use it live now and have fun with it. I like it a lot. Like I dumped all kinds of shit into there. Loops from the modular, stuff from the rhythm, chunks from tracks that are on the record, like basically so I could remix that shit live, which is what I was trying to do.
Do you record into it or you dump from
No, I just dump. I put everything into a folder and then you can connect it right to the computer via USB. It sees it as a drive. You just toss all that shit in there.
Oh, cool.
You can do it in seconds. You can even do it with a USB stick. It'll take it on the top of it. Like you just.
So it's simple like the Octatrack.
Yeah.
But the rhythm's a pain in the ass to get all the sounds in it. It drives me crazy.
It is,
And you can't get them back out, Electron. Like, you cannot take them. They're like, oh, you better have all those samples. And I'm like, dude, I'm sloppy. I just throw stuff. Like, hear a sound, I put it on the pad.
One thing I also like about the Octatrack is if you got all these samples in there and then you realize you can put a little setting in there and have them get rid of all the samples you're not using in a song.
Yeah.
I wish they did that in the rhythm because I can't remember every little sound I use everywhere, and I'm sure there's a lot of them I don't use in all my
I've
songs.
gone through every pattern and looked at every sample being used, and it took me like an hour, and it made me mad.
I don't want to do that. I like
No,
the Octatrack
don't do
did
it.
it. The Octatrack just you click on that thing and it erases all the samples you're not using. It's amazing.
That is something computers and electronics are good at. Making a human do it is pretty silly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm lazy.
It's very convenient. Like you can
Spend time doing that.
Yeah, basically it puts it into drive mode. Like there's an option in settings. You hook it up USB, enter drive mode, and then the computer just sees that you can take whatever you need off of it, put whatever onto it, you know what I mean? And then you just exit drive mode and it's just there. You can browse. It's just like battery, you know what I mean? Like you select a track, you browse through your folder structure, you put whatever audio file you want on whatever track, and it's super, super quick.
Can you tag stuff on there with like names? Be like, this is a pad. You did it with colors, I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to organize shit with color. No, you cannot add tags or anything just yet. So whatever the file is named is what you get. So like I came up with a little system. Like I put like BPM, of the sound dash, like whatever song it's related to, and then like -1 or -2 or whatever. So I was doing shit like, 146 dash pad 1, just stupid shit like that to reference it, and you can see it on the screen, which is nice. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I really like about it is the big ass fucking screens.
So you actually organize things.
I tried.
Like that helps. My shit's a fucking mess. None of the words go with what the sample actually sounds like. I just make up something like wah, bleh, and then just dot wave.
Yeah, I get real OCD with that shit, and that's
I need to.
Yes, I need to too. But I have like a few machines where you can like tag stuff, and I almost never use it because it's not like I'm just gonna make it generally, or like I know what I have. I'm not gonna be like, oh, pads. Let me scroll through the Congos or some shit.
Yeah. Well, then you get to pad 1, pad 2, pad 23, pad 36. It's like, okay.
Pad 23 is a good one, though.
It usually works out for me.
Then you feel silly like trying to describe the pads.
Yeah.
And then it's just like squiggle ocean. Like, okay, this is not going to make sense.
And it's always what mood you're in when you're actually editing the sample, which doesn't make sense later on. You're like, what the hell was I thinking when I described that?
Yeah, it's as far as organizing shit on there goes, I'm like you said, I'm doing it all by color right now. You can color the tracks whatever you want, and so I came up with a system to like colorize what I could combo into, like tracks that would combo well, tracks that are meant to loop, and tracks that are just meant to be one shots. But you can't color the scenes or the patterns yet. Like it automatically assigns a color to it, which is really fucking frustrating.
Yeah.
So like what I was doing was leaving empty patterns in between like the songs, and just so I had like a visual reference. But if they add that option to colorize that would be extremely helpful.
I like that coloration option. That'd be cool because I mean, with Octatrack, it'd be nice with something like that because I have different samples that would need a color, and this one so I know what I'm actually pushing buttons because I have no idea. I have I use so many sounds that I just have to wing it every time.
I would totally fuck that up. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I'd just if I don't have visual references, I just lose my place. But
I do it often. You just make the mistake twice. Make the mistake twice.
Yep,
That's
I made a couple mistakes last night.
People have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Or especially have a delay on things.
Yeah. I love that aux send.
It has a similar button things like on the TR8s.
Yeah.
Which I was noticing too.
They feel like identical to the TRAs, those bottom ones. That brings me to a minor complaint actually. Some of the ones on the end are a little not too responsive. And that kind of sucks.
Are they meant to be played? What are those buttons?
No, I mean you hit them to change scenes and change patterns.
Oh, okay.
Which is how I play it. I didn't use the arranger mode at all because it's too limited in my opinion, and it was just kind of frustrating. And you cannot set up pattern chaining, so you have to do it manually. Which is what I was trying to do last night. Like I was trying to be on beat, switching patterns manually, punching shit in, and the buttons all the way on the left and all the way on the right are kind of like I don't want to say sticky, but like not that responsive. You know what I mean? And that's kind of frustrating as hell. I don't know if that's a design flaw or if maybe I just need to break it in more or something. But that was a little frustrating.
Do you like step edit like all your patterns in there? Do you like tap them in, or how do you like make stuff on there generally?
Right now I'm using it mainly like you would Ableton Live.
Oh, okay, that's right. You just
loops and then I layer the loops. Yeah, so pretty much almost everything starts on the 1 or like the 3rd. You know what I mean? Like and then it loops for 64 steps or whatever. Like what I was doing was dropping shit in there at the tempo it's meant to be, disabling time stretching, and then setting the tempo, the master tempo, to half that. That way I can get more time out of it, because there is some time restrictions on that thing. Like you can't have more than like I think it's a 30-second long sample or anything longer than your 64 step. So like to be able to do longer stuff and within a scene and like be able to transition and still have some things going in the background to the next pattern, I would like expand it like that.
Robocop is threatening me.
He's been giving me the little side eye, so I shift him.
That's kind of what I'm hoping that the Bitbox will let me do, like play longer samples that I can have alongside stuff. Like
Bitbox seems to have no restriction. Like I was reading into it after you told me about it, and like you can record up to 4 fucking hours on it or something. I was like okay.
24, 48 or something.
Yeah, that's insane. Like I was looking at the functionality of it. It seems a lot like the Toraiz in modular form, you know, and it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I want to see how it works, you know. But it looks like the same deal, man. Like, you know, you tap a pad, you assign it as a sample, you can play it with the screen or whatever, you can trigger it.
Can you have really long samples in that? Does it handle it really well?
In the Bitbox, in the Toraiz, no.
Toraiz, okay. So it's like the Octatrack a little bit too?
Well, Octatrack handles that shit better than this. Yeah.
I haven't actually dumped it really long. Have y'all done
I don't generally either.
DJ your own songs? I think I've never done it.
I know people who did, and like it just, I don't know. If you change the BPM at all, then you're time stretching everything, and it's not the greatest time stretching. Like it can be good, but I don't know if I'd want a full track coming out of it.
I'm interested in just going traveling with that and just dumping some songs if I want to just DJ my songs.
But yeah, if you would keep like patterns with BPMs or something associated and just like have your tracks the way you want, like I could see that working.
Do you use it in the flex mode or the other mode? There's 2 modes.
Oh, the static.
Static mode. You have the static mode, right? Yeah. Which I never use. Okay.
Yeah, I usually use the flex too.
Yeah. What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, I thought
static pulls right from the CF card.
Yeah, which is better for the longer samples.
Yeah, and you can like if you do start point modulation on the static ones, it will not be able to catch up on the CF card. But if you have it in memory, you can just go nuts and do like crazy like
so like if you're mangling
sample windowing,
you want it in static.
Yes,
gotcha.
Or flex. Because static will be the one where the CF card can't keep up.
Okay, I got you.
I'm already gonna fucking buy one again. I know it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, he's gonna resist. Just wait. They're coming out with the 3rd one or second one, not 3rd one.
Yeah.
We need to get to the 2nd one before we get to the 3rd one.
Yeah,
but I mean, they better come out with the 2nd one.
I can't even keep them in stock. Like so many people use them. Cool to bolster those effects up a bit.
Yeah, seriously.
I could see a little more generous screen on that too. You know, it works. It does the trick. But
that screen
really
on that
nice.
That was really nice.
How's the touchscreen working out live?
I mean, I didn't have any problems with it, but I'm trying to avoid touching it too much also.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could kind of just turn that thing off. Reason why I was touching it during live performance was to get into different effects modes and to change the tempo. Because there's no, like, tempo button. Hit the tempo on the screen and adjust it with the jog wheel, which is kind of annoying.
Looks like they're putting a looper in there or something.
Yeah, I don't...
Some more effects, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever use that pickup machines in the Octatrack?
I have not.
I've never used
There's
them.
a lot of things I never use on that.
Yeah.
What is
got
it?
stuck in?
It's like a looper, like a true, like almost guitar style, like overdubbing looper thing. Whereas I think it's easier to just do it with the triggers and like record and stuff that way.
Have you done much recording straight in live and adding it in as you're sequencing? Ryan and I have been trying to do a lot of that stuff, and it's been failing miserably.
Yeah, latency is a nightmare, of course.
Because we're sequencing like the modular stuff that we have to dump back, like record it straight into the Octatrack to sequence it right away has been a pain in the ass, and it just doesn't. Recording live has been difficult for me, and Ryan, if Ryan can't figure it out,
Brian.
then I'm fucked. So if he can't figure it out,
Should we explain to the listeners who you're referencing?
oh, Ryan's an Opticon.
Shout out to the Opticon.
Yeah.
It's an optogynecologist.
Why is he not out here right now?
But yeah, the Octatrack is just always too complex for me. Like you said, if Ryan can't figure it out, then I have
Just
no
recording
hope.
live. It's just the recording live. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I got the basics of it down when I had one, but I felt like there was so much in there that I didn't understand or would use. It was like, then why the fuck do I own this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it took me like when I moved over from the RS7000 R1X days to the Octatrack, it took me over a year to figure out that damn sequencer.
Oh yeah,
It's
took me
totally
a good
different,
year.
and I was just angry, and I just would put it away until Matt Schultz, Split Horizon one day. He was like, "No, here's what you do," and then it all of a sudden worked for me.
Yeah, it's all about the parts. If you
Yeah.
don't remember to save your parts and switch your parts because it won't.
You have to save the parts, and then you save the patterns, and then you save the project. It's like pushing all these buttons just to save the damn thing.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
the rhythm's the same way. It drives me fucking nuts. I lost a lot of.
Oh, you gotta save the kit before you save the things. Otherwise,
Save
I
kit,
kept going. I was
save
like, my
pattern.
kit's all fucked up.
Right.
It's always nice to turn it back on the next day. I want to hear. It's all wrong.
No, you have to. I have a total method. I always do these over and over again, saving.
It's one of those things, it's all muscle memory at that point.
Yeah.
It's just like. Bleh.
And I know that's something that like people on Electronauts forums have been bitching about forever too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
why can't we just have like a save all function in there? Like I know I lost a lot of shit last time I was fucking around with Rhythm because I forgot to do that, and I can't see where my kit and pattern buttons are now because I tried to dust mine off, and apparently the paint on those panels are really shitty. Because I clean everything with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, dude. Like cotton swab, rubbing alcohol. That's why I clean like all my electronics.
on your Rhythm?
Yeah.
I also wanted to say it was finally amazing to see Speak Young even play on the Octatrack. That guy was
yeah, dude.
an Octatrack like I don't even understand.
He's got
Octatrack god, dude.
techniques, man.
Yeah. I want to see a show with him and Basic play together. Have you all been to a show? Oh, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the alcohol just literally
It's like your
stripped
makeup
the
just
paint
got
right off.
smeared.
Yeah.
It's like a rough night out.
And according to Electron support, that shouldn't happen if you clean it with rubbing alcohol. Like, well, it did happen.
That's not actually support. Just telling you
Yeah.
something shouldn't happen
Like, oh.
after it did.
Have you updated this thing?
Yeah.
This thing does so much crazy shit. No, Ryan, I don't even touch all the stuff. Ryan does it when we do our montage stuff.
Oh yeah, the nth triggers.
All the weird fucking.
Love that shit.
There's so many crazy things it does. And I'm just like, I can't remember all that.
Yeah, that update, because you had told me that it was coming, and that was one of the reasons that finally led me to buy the Rhythm. Because like my LXR had that shit, and I liked that a lot, and everything in the Rhythm was appealing to me, but the sequencer seemed lacking to me to be able to do that type of probabilistic shit. And when you told me that it was probably coming down the line, I was like, fuck it, and I pulled the trigger and updated it as soon as it came out, man.
It's the shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, again, like I don't even touch it because I try to keep everything as simple. I try not to overcomplicate things in my sets because it's hard when you're doing everything to remember. Oh, this one goes in more submenu, pushing the other button, turn this, do that. I'm like, I can't fucking remember all that. I was like, fucking have all these notes. I've been trying to get away from being confined by notes.
This thing here, dude, it's essentially 8 channels of Rhythm style sequence.
That thing up there, the Variegate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing looks neat.
Yeah, it's all probability sequencing. You know what I mean? Just like with the Rhythm, you can't do like the trick conditions, like, if this one triggers, this one doesn't type shit. But, you got the probability, repeat, all this shit per step. And it's pretty nice. And you get 8 fucking channels of it.
Well, I've been staying away from getting a sequencer in my mod set up. I don't know why I've been stubborn about that, but just because I sequence everything with the Octatrack.
Yeah, I mean,
But part of me wants it to be standalone a little bit to do some other stuff as well. I mean, even the Yarns does that, doesn't it? I mean, it's got like a sequencer.
Yeah, it does.
I just started trying to learn that last week.
Isn't it kind of? I had Yarns for a minute, but didn't use the sequencer. But wasn't it like kind of SH101 style?
Yep.
Like
I think it's like 8 steps. I mean, I love my SH101. I sequence on that a lot. It's my favorite.
I was when I had mine. Yeah,
So good.
I fucking loved that thing.
Yeah, when I trigger with my 606, trigger on that stuff. Or no, the clock of the 606 has that out from the high tom or low tom or whatever. Playing the sequences from the SH101.
You can kind of do that with the rhythm now. It has that. What is it? It's just called like the trigger machine or whatever.
Oh yeah, the impulse
machine. Yeah. So you can essentially send gates out of the outputs there, and it'll trigger.
Oh, I saw that you were doing that, right? I saw you post something about doing it that method.
Yeah, I did do it for a minute, and I was clocking with like the rim shot in there too. Like I had a rim shot sample on one of the channels, and I was clocking. But ever since the latest update, like even if I take a channel out of the main mix, and I'm trying to just use like, the individual outs, if they're like kind of paired, the individual outs. If there's anything going on that, that'll come out the individual out too.
Oh yeah, that's the weird fundamental flaw, because it's like one analog voice. So there are things where like, oh, this one thing will bleed. The cowbell used to bleed forever. Like if you hit this pad, you would hear the fucking cowbell if you had a reverb on, because it was reverbing that too. And I think they did fix it, but there's still some.
We're working it out.
Like in a beta, maybe, or I think there's a fix now.
I think it's fixed now.
Because I think I was still having the issue last I tried, and I just kind of gave up on the individual outs for the moment to sequence and clock shit, because it was just pissing me off.
It'd be nice if this thing had more LFOs.
Yeah, that's what
you just get one.
Talking about.
It's like,
well, even
at least you can point one track's LFO to another. Yeah, Octatrack is 3.
It's awesome. I love those fucking LFOs on that thing.
Yeah, and the designer for the LFOs, that thing's fun too.
Yeah, the LXR, if you had any unused LFOs on other channels, you could just assign them to a different channel. So you could essentially have one channel with like, 8 LFOs, you know what I mean? If you wanted.
Oh yeah, that thing, the LXR is awesome, man. I love that thing.
It was like a machine drum on fucking steroids, dude. Yeah. It was cool.
Still, the machine drum did the triggered out stuff like way better, because it would let you set the gate length, which I don't think this does, and it was like,
that'd be cool if Robocop was in fucking Star Wars out of nowhere.
Fuck yes, it would.
Just out of nowhere, just popped in.
Like, hey guys, why are your weapons so old?
We have lasers now, right? It's like my ice pick's gonna fuck up your laser.
We have a star that will kill planets, and you brought a pistol in here.
Have you seen that Geiger counter module?
I've seen that. I've never played it.
WMD one?
No, I'm sorry. No, not like the Geiger counter module, but it's like built off of the
actual Geiger counter.
Wow,
yeah, my friend has one of those. Like an actual Geiger counter. It's fucking cool sounding too.
Yeah, it like generates random events based on like
radioactivity. Is it like one of those Geisky, like crazy ones where
they like, but it's similar to that. Yes, it has like the big fucking rod on the front.
Yeah, so like it's kind of an impractical module.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but pretty gimmicky. Boutique.
Yeah, that you start getting all sorts of
gates. Not gimmicky, but
early warning system.
Looked at Tristan.
This is not part of the performance. We all have to leave.
Yeah, no, you gotta go. Fusion too. They're making progress with Fusion. That's cool.
Yeah.
Go Fusion.
Yeah. What is it? Fucking science time, Nick?
This is now Beekman's world.
Yeah.
Oh, sequencing. I don't know. I like sequencing with the modular, just because I'm getting more into like percussion in the modular. You know what I mean? And I guess you could do that all with the Octatrack, but you wouldn't have the probability stuff, especially in the modular, because you don't even have to use that to like just trigger your percussion. You can use probability gates to do your envelopes or any reset shit. You know what I mean? You can start getting really crazy polyrhythmic shit.
There's gotta be ways around that too as well, right? Still do that type of stuff, using that still in there. You're sequencing just the main pattern. And
if you point MIDI into it, you could do it in the Octatrack. And it also does this track length stuff, which can get pretty intense and polyrhythmic. When I got that variegated, I was like, oh, I'll never be able to, I don't have this many things to trigger. And it was like immediately every output was used up, because like resets on LFOs and envelopes, like all that shit.
Yeah.
Goes quick.
I was using most of the channels live, and I don't even have like any drum modules in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I was just using it to generate events and resets and goofy shit. Yeah, no, I feel you should have at least one CV sequencer in there eventually.
Yeah, no one looks like a cool one for sure.
It does CV too. Like it has 2 channels for note. But that's the other thing too. Like you can have those 2 CV channels like doing their own thing, or you can tie them to one of the gate channels that are doing some crazy probabilistic shit or repeats or whatever. So
has there been anything coming out where you can do like modular doing quad stuff, quad sound outputs to help do with that yet? That's what I'm working for Synopticon. In our future show, we're going to do like
quad phasing.
Quad
Someone
sets,
has like a
just
quad mixer with CV, I think.
Well, there's a new Keith McMillan mixer my friends worked on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the new one. I haven't checked it out yet though, but I want to see what that's all about. I had the Q Neo and the Q Nexus. I had both of those. But I think they just came out with a mixer from Brian. It's part of Catabatic. He helped work on that, engineer that.
Nice.
Yeah, that has possibilities, but yeah, I'd like to do more quad stuff. Modular somehow, do things in rotary knob to swirl things around or something like that. That's what I've been looking for.
The planner can kind of do that, yeah.
Yeah, like Buchla they have some quad stuff that's part of that system. Definitely some Euro modules that I'm missing that can do that.
I'm trying to remember. There was an IntelliGel filter that could do that. It was
Really?
weird. Like it would output CV. The Doc.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it does the quadrature shit.
Yeah.
Sample slicer. I like the fuck out of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sample slicer. I dug that for a minute. I no longer have it, but I miss it. You think you're still going to be using it once you get your bed box?
I think so.
Right on.
I think they'll be cool together because
Use
it's
it.
got its own sound type thing. It would be nice if they made like a CD quality one, but I like how you can window and it crossfades the little slices so you can scan through those.
Absolutely.
That's fun.
What is the quality on it?
Like I want to say like 12-bit 22
Yeah,
kilohertz.
it's 12-bit
I mean,
if I recall.
That's usable.
Yeah, no, it sounds good enough. As like I was discussing with Morgan, it's really a lot better on like full frequency. You like sort of sample external stuff in, but I think it just needs like a full sound. If you just sample bass into it, it'll be super aliased. Because they have no like anti-aliasing.
Right, which you could use as an effect if
Yeah. And they tell you like if you want the aliasing on, just low pass filter it before you send the signal in.
Yeah, first thing I did when I had that was send an amen break to it from the computer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just started chopping the fuck out of it.
Kind of works really well.
Yeah. It's one thing I always liked was, the Rex player, just chopping a beat. It's cool to have something in your modular that can live record, some crazy shit you got going on, and then just slice the fuck out of it and trigger the slices and how, the length of those slices
Yeah,
would be a CV. It's pretty fucking
That's
fun.
one thing I'd like in a new Octatrack, transient detection slicing, like recycle style.
It's crazy how there isn't much that has topped recycle.
Yeah.
In that regard, like that shit's what, like 15-year-old? No,
At least. Yeah.
It's still like the de facto slicer.
Yeah.
Remember I bought a shitty Akai S2000 rack mount sampler that didn't fucking work very well, just so I could hook recycle up to it because, Aphex Twin did it too. I was 16.
What were you doing with it? Like just sending like note data per slice or something?
Yeah,
That's cool.
pretty much.
Right on.
You could there was a program where you could it would hook up over SCSI via recycle, so it was really fast at the time, at like 90s, to get shit over there without MIDI sample dump, which takes forever. So I had horrible zip drive hell hooked up to it.
Zip drive.
I don't miss that shit.
No, you got your sample slicer as a kid, right?
Yeah,
And you said
it's
it was
easy because
easy as fuck to build.
all the SMD stuff was done. You just put the jacks and the LEDs on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it took like literally under an hour to build it.
I might have to get another one then, as kit format. Trash Masher is the coolest new shit I got recently. I like it. It's pretty much the only other filter I got now besides from the Polaris right now.
Well,
And,
Polaris is.
Yeah, you got 3 of them up there, right?
Yeah.
Polaris.
Like I mentioned in a previous episode, I always wanted to get a 4th, but now I guess I don't need to. Like, I got the Trash Master, and that it's got a lot of character, you know what I mean? It does everything that the Polaris, like, kind of doesn't do, you know what I mean? Like, it can get pretty unique with the tone shaping and the distortions. The filter itself is only a bandpass. It's more like a mangler than, like, a filter. They're normal together, like the filter input and the distortion input, so you can have both, going in and out separately.
Oh, okay.
So if you want something filtered and one thing distorted,
Nice.
you can do that. Or if you want your distortion post-filter or pre-filter, it all just depends on how you patch it in there.
Oh, so it's actually like which one you patch it into, not like switches.
Like there's an X here. The top is the filter, the bottom is the
Oh,
distortion.
nice.
So a lot of functionality built in there. The drive has like different tone models. Like one's based on like the tube screamer and all that shit. It's got a high pass filter built into the distortion circuit. So like even if you're not, even if you're not messing with the band pass, you can still activate like the high pass mode on the distortion stage, scoop out some of that growliness. You know what I mean? If you're going for like a nice high end fuzz, just using it all weekend, usually at max gain settings, just using it to fuck shit up. I had it like in a feedback patch going to the frequency of the filter. So like, even though I was manually tweaking the frequency of it, it was also being fed back into itself, which was giving it a little motion,
One thing I definitely learned this year is feedback patching from you. I do it all the time now. Because every time, like, how the fuck did you get that sound? And you'd be like, oh, it's feedback, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, why don't I do that shit? Now I do a lot.
That's one reason why I got so hooked on the modular shit, dude, because every time I'd go back to like messing with something in software, I'd be like, I really wish I could feedback this right now. Like, I don't know, it's just something that took to like immediately when I started fucking with this shit, and it's just like one way how I base on if I want to keep a module or not. Like, can I feedback this thing and get something I like out of it? But
I really love how it just can really hang on. I like things that hang on that edge like that, where you got to be careful, or it's gonna
right on the ledge there,
you apart,
falling into utter chaos or instability or something. Yeah, absolutely. It's how you can get a lot of like almost circuit bent type results out of things that are otherwise pretty stable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, I was doing all kinds of feedback shit last night. Like I had the herb verb feeding back into itself, doing some weird shit, like the feedback path doing some modulation, like going to some of the different CV inputs. I had all the filters were feeding back into itself. Like one trick I usually do with the players is I always use the mult outputs for the most part, but I also patch like the low pass into FM1 and just like give it a little touch of feedback there, you know what I mean, on the frequency, and just goofy shit like that. I don't know.
Can make a clean filter a lot more
absolutely
flavorful.
Yeah.
Like the Schwayman, that MMF one, I almost have to do that stuff now because that thing is polite as fuck. It's like, it's really good on like full program material. I like it for ambient stuff where I would never run like a lead through it. It's just like, it's so subtle.
Yeah, that's one reason why I like the mutable blind so much, is that because you can invert your feedback path with it and attenuate at the same time.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, all that shit. So you can, crucial module, I feel like, for a lot of feedback patching. Yeah, I can't remember. I had some other feedback. Oh, braids. I had it feeding back into itself for FM. I like feedback. Bring shit alive. But yeah, in a live environment, it can also make your patch go to shit real quick.
Yeah.
Like I had to sound check like everything that I had going on every time, just to make sure. 'Cause just into traveling, like, if the knobs, the attenuation knobs or something got moved a little bit, then everything gets fucked up. But oh yeah, this was new too. I forgot to mention this. Not too exciting. It's just another noise engineering module. It's a VCA/envelope. I think it was the 909. He fashioned it off of the VCA on the 909 cymbals. Mm-hmm. So like it doesn't close like a typical circuit. It kind of like chokes the signal, and then like, so you get like this weird aliasing as like the envelope, or the VCA rather, is closing, and you can control that VCA with the built-in envelope, sending like the screechy feedback shit I had through it, just because the alias is nice. But yeah, I'm starting to get a lot of noise engineering shit out of nowhere. But yeah, I was doing a lot of like no input shit also, like even the herb verb, I had it on like the edge of self-oscillating and shit, and had nothing running into it except for itself, and I would mix in and out of itself, so he's just like self-oscillating here and then sometimes routing into itself and like going crazy and shit. But I wasn't using it as an effect, because I always liked that aspect of it, but I didn't like it too much as an effect, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it again, but this time just use it as like its own standalone instrument and not necessarily an effect on anything else. Did we mention Sean was with us?
I think we did.
Yeah, Sean Dimentia. Okay.
Only his physical form right now.
His spirit is elsewhere.
Traveling the plains.
Still laying on the couch. My sleeping bag.
Your projection skills are getting much better.
We're here with Sean Dementia's Simulacrum. Special guest.
Did you hear the new Dr. Octagon?
There's a new one?
Yeah.
I need to hear this.
Oh, I heard about that. I haven't
It's really
heard it
good.
yet.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I remember the original was, I love that.
He's amazing. It's been popping up a lot recently.
Blue flowers.
For us. Yeah, blue flowers.
Half alligator, shark, half man.
He's
Keith
so
is unique.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's so amazing.
Nobody like that, dude.
Seriously. Yeah.
And a podcast. Cool. I'm taking it on a high note.